Welcome to Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a close look at some, well, truly significant changes that could be impacting skilled foreign professionals seeking to live and work in the U.S. We're talking about what looks like a major overhaul of the H-1B visa program and even broader immigration policies.
Indeed. It's a really important time to understand what's being proposed. This deep dive will unpack the administration's potential reforms, which seem designed to tighten eligibility, increase oversight, and fundamentally alter how these visas are given out. It's definitely complex, but we'll break down what you need to know and, crucially, why it matters.
Okay, let's dig into this. The administration is talking about a sweeping set of proposed reforms for the H-1B visa program. What's the big picture here? What are they trying to achieve?
Well, at its core, the stated goal seems to be raising the standards for getting an H-1B approved. We're seeing proposals for tougher eligibility and compliance requirements. That sounds like a focus on making sure only the, quote, most qualified applicants get these visas.
Yep.
And it also points towards heightened compliance measures, like stricter verification, more accountability for the companies and institutions sponsoring the visas.
So more hoops to jump through for both the applicant and the employer.
That's what it looks like, yeah. A significant shift.
And you mentioned institutions. I know the cap-exempt category is crucial for some.
Absolutely. And that's where it gets really interesting, particularly for certain types of organizations.
Yeah.
The reforms are also targeting that cap-exempt category.
Ah, right, the cap-exempt. Traditionally, that's been, well, a lifeline for universities, nonprofits, research institutions. Lets them bypass the annual H-1B lottery cap. What's changing there?
Precisely. So the administration seems to be looking to restrict or redefine who qualifies for that exemption. The stated aim is to ensure the cap isn't, bypassed improperly. So for those institutions currently enjoying this status higher education, nonprofit research orgs, they could be facing a revamp.
Wow.
Yeah, and this raises a really important point for you, the listener. If you work with or are part of these kinds of organizations, this could seriously alter their ability to attract top international talent.
That could have major ripple effects on research and innovation. Now, moving beyond the cap-exempt part, there's a really big change proposed for the main H-1B program itself, right? How the visas are actually allocated. We're talking about getting rid of the traditional lottery system.
That's correct. That's probably one of the most significant shifts proposed. Replacing the lottery, that random chance draw, with a wage-based weighted selection process. This approach would fundamentally alter the whole allocation process.
Okay, so hang on. Instead of a random draw, it becomes a competition based on salary. What does that actually mean for applicants?
Well, it means the system would actively favor higher-earning applicants. Now, this might sound good if you're already a highly paid professional, but, and this is a big but, it would likely create real challenges for entry-level workers and international students, people who typically start at lower salaries.
Right, recent graduates trying to get their foot in the door.
Exactly. So this is a critical point for you to consider, especially if you're maybe just finishing your degree or early in your career. It changes the odds significantly. The potential upside, I suppose, is that legal challenges and public feedback might still shape how this is finally implemented. It's not law yet.
That's crucial to remember. It's proposed, not final. It really sounds like these H-1B changes aren't happening in a vacuum, though. They feel like part of a much larger strategy. Is that fair to say?
That's a very astute observation, yes.
Yeah.
These H-1B reforms are, in fact, framed as part of a broader immigration crackdown being mapped out. If you look at the Department of Homeland Security's regulatory agenda, it anticipates rulemaking aimed at reshaping employment-based green cards, too.
Green cards. Okay, so permanent residency, not just temporary visas.
Exactly. We're talking about the EB1, EB2, and EB3 categories specifically. The path many skilled workers hope to take for long-term settlement.
And what kinds of changes are being floated there?
There are several key areas flagged for potential rulemaking. First, clarifying what constitutes a bona fide job offer. This could mean employers need to provide much more robust evidence that the job is real and meets certain standards.
More paperwork, potentially more scrutiny on the offer itself?
Potentially, yes. Second, granting authorities power to conduct site visits at sponsoring employers. This introduces a whole new level of oversight. Direct verification visits to companies.
Wow, okay. Like audits, almost.
Sort of, yes. And third, redefining evidentiary criteria for extraordinary ability and national interest visa categories. So if you're a highly accomplished professional or a researcher, maybe aiming for those EB1 or national interest waiver categories, the bar for proving your unique qualifications could shift significantly. They might require different or more proof.
That could affect some really top-tier talent. When might we see these green card rule proposals?
The timeline mentioned for those specific rules is anticipated publication in January 2026, so a bit further out than the immediate H-1B proposals.
Okay, so putting this all together, what does this mean for the people and organizations caught up in this? Who are the key stakeholders feeling the heat?
Yeah, if we connect the dots, several groups are going to be significantly affected.
Okay.
First, obviously, employers and universities. They should probably expect more scrutiny and documentation requirements, especially those who used to rely on being cap exempt. This could mean more administrative burden, higher costs, maybe slower hiring.
That makes sense. Who else?
Second, job applicants, especially from India. We know that India receives roughly 70% of H-1B visas currently. The proposed wage-based system, well, it might skew selection toward experienced, high-earning professionals.
Yeah.
That could make it much harder for recent graduates and those in roles that don't command top dollar right away to compete. That's a really significant point for you if you're an international professional thinking about the U.S.
A huge potential shift for that demographic.
Definitely. And third, you have immigration advocates and legal counsel. With a public comment period expected for these rules and the possibility of legal challenges, these groups will play a key role in influencing the final form of these regulations. Their involvement really highlights that this is still a dynamic situation. It's not necessarily set in stone.
Right. The process involves feedback and potential pushback. This is a lot to track. It sounds like changes are coming at different speeds. Can you give us a quick rundown of the timeline again?
Sure. So the H-1B reforms, the stricter eligibility, the cap-exempt revisions, those are proposed now. They're in the regulatory pipeline. The move toward that wage-prioritized selection process for H-1B, replacing the lottery, that could potentially come into effect for, say, FY 2027. So not next year, but the year after, perhaps.
Okay.
And then for those broader green card rules, we talked about job offers, site visits, evidence criteria. The rulemaking for those is anticipated in January 2026.
Got it. So some things are being actively debated now. Others are a bit further down the road. It's definitely not static.
It's exactly right. As these reforms move through the whole regulatory process, everyone involved, employers, applicants, advocacy groups, they really need to prepare for a significant shift in how skilled foreign professionals might enter and stay in the U.S. It raises big questions, doesn't it? Like, what's the biggest challenge or opportunity you see in all of this?
That's the key question to ponder, isn't it? The long-term impact on talent flows and U.S. competitiveness.
Well, that was a really comprehensive deep dive into this proposed overhaul of the H-1B program and the wider immigration picture. We've covered quite a bit. The push for stricter eligibility, the reevaluation of those crucial cap-exempt organizations, and that really fundamental shift from a lottery to a wage-based system for H-1Bs.
And we also touched on those looming changes for employment-based green cards, the new potential rules around job offers, employer site visits, and the criteria for things like extraordinary ability.
Right. We also highlighted who feels the impact most: employers, universities, and especially job applicants, maybe particularly those from countries like India who rely heavily on the current H-1B system. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's clear that, staying informed and understanding these potential changes is going to be absolutely critical for anyone navigating the U.S. immigration system in the next few years. Vigilance is key.
Thank you for joining us for this essential deep dive. We really hope this has given you, our listener, a clearer and more comprehensive understanding of these important, evolving matters. All the best, and we will meet again with another important subject in the next meeting.